Do not post your referral code in the comment section below. Doing so will result in being blocked and reported. Thank you. Hey guys, jaybo785 coming to you today with a quick video. This will actually probably be one of the shortest videos, so let's make things real quick, real fast, and to the point. Remember, if you have an extra device and an extra phone laying around, or a new player planning on joining, please use my referral code RUM26800. If you have any questions or comments, please post them below or message me in game. That being said, let's go ahead and get started. I'm making this video because right now the Rage of Bahamut game is actually down. What it says, word for word, is it's not you, it's us. Mobidge and Plus are currently undergoing unscheduled maintenance. Please check back soon. So, if any of you have ever seen the new 21 Jump Street, where, Jonah Hill and, what's-his-face are fingering each other's mouths in the bathroom after they took those drugs, that's kind of what that reminds me of. Is it me? Sometimes I just can't. That's what that reminds me of. Or like a really bad breakup in high school, It's not you, it's me. So, that being said, I wonder what's causing that. If they're just having a really big internal error, or some extreme hacking's going on. It's pretty much open to endless speculation, okay? So, just for shits and giggles, if you want to, go ahead and post your comment down below of what you think might be going on. Maybe they're all just taking a coffee break or think of new ingenious ways to piss off their players. That would be my vote. Speaking of what, pissing off your players, as you all know, for anyone that's seen about my last 2 or 3 videos, my big complaint was my Axe Master's effects were not going off, and neither was my Aldrich's, Odie's, any of those cards other than the Elder was not going off. So, they finally fixed that issue today. And I have mixed feelings. You think I'd be really happy, except they're like, no, we're not going to provide you any compensation. So, piss off. So, that's one of those things I was like, really? Yeah, I just spent 50 plus personal holy powder, and I think 1 or 2 regular holy powder to beat the twisted guy, and you're not going to provide us any compensation at all. And it was one of those things I'm like, this would have been a really quick, easy fix. This thing is a big boost to damage against dragons, medium bosses, against large bosses, so that's a 10% boost. Give me back 10% of my holy powder, a personal holy powder to that. So personally holy powder, guys, that doesn't really affect the game that much. It's one of those things, you can't trade it, it's not going to affect the economy, it's for a little bit that people aren't going to need it as bad, as fast. And honestly, in an event like the Puppet Master Strikes Back, 5 holy powder is going to be used up within probably about an hour, if not sooner. Definitely by the end of the day. So, I think for players like me that were really upset and angry about that, I don't understand not justifying the little bit of compensation. Another thing that you could have done, which probably would have been harder and actually would have affected more players, but still would have been justifiable, is this is a 10% boost. Probably goes off a third of the time, which I don't understand why. If I have 3 of these in my deck, the one in the first spot should always go off, but it doesn't. So it's not like the same as a fighting card skill deck. Sometimes it doesn't always go off at the first stage. Sometimes it goes in the second, third, fourth, or sometimes even 5th stage. So I don't really know why or how, or if there's any reason to why these effects go off or don't go off. I know when I used to play Roar of the Dragons, the R.O.B. Rich effect, which I had 2 of those in my deck, both of those could go off, as well as a Hobbit's effect. You could have, I think, at least 3, if not more, effects go off in one battle. So, that being said, I don't really understand that. If you know, post it down in the comment section below. Enlighten us. I'd greatly appreciate that. So, the other idea was, give us extra points. Give us a bonus point. It could be 1 extra percentage point for every type of boss fighting card that we used in our deck, okay? I would have said just 10% bonus to whatever points we had, but, that's saying that it goes off every single time, so, 1% for every one of these type of cards that you use in your deck. I think that's justifiable. So, okay, what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Post them down below. Let me know, okay? So, that's the first part of this video, basically. something's going on with the game. Who knows what? Let's just wait and see. Of course, I can't log on right now, so I can't use my attack points, can't use my stamina points. So let's see if they compensate anybody for that. Because that's affecting all the players, not just players like me that actually prep for this event. Okay, so one of the questions I get a lot is I can't buy cards. I'm getting frustrated. I can't get any better in the game. What do I do? And that's where you have to start something like a feeder service. Sell high-end skilled cards. Sell high-end non-skilled cards. What little holy powder or cure water you have, work it around. Do an exchange rate where you make a little bit of a profit. And take it day by day, guys. I have not spent any money in this game, and I'm actually finally starting to get a really good defense deck. And as any of my loyal viewers know, my defense sucked for the very longest time. So, take it day by day. Try to get a tiny bit better each week. My goal is to make 2 HP a day. That's 14 HP a week, okay? Which means about 10 days in, I can buy 1 paladin. Which means by the end of the month, I've got 1 FS46 paladin, okay? So you can see how long this game would take to get up and advance through if you're not spending actual money in this game. And then, of course, when you get dicked around on your events and whatnot, then that's where having a really good order comes in handy, and of course when the Rage of Bahamut staff actually gets their heads out of their asses. So, example that I'm going to use, and you can replace this with the God Realm, and you can replace this with the Demon Realm. I'm just familiar with the Man Realm the most, which is why I'm doing this, is start out with a good rare card, okay? So we're going to talk about defense because that's what people typically have the most problems with. Now, a Divine Guard Holy Knight 4/6 on the Bazaar, which will cost you 2 tickets, is actually pretty cheap. It costs you about, I think a fair price is 10 HP for a proper 4/6, and honestly, sometimes you can get 8/15 for just a couple more HP. The defense is pretty good. I think it's around 12,000-ish. So, if you're working your way up, this is a card that would be good to start off with. And, the same thing kind of applies to our attack deck. This is something also that, for the amount of time it takes to evolve these, the amount of time it takes to hunt these, if you have the HP to just straight out buy one, I think it's worth it. That way you can save those feeder cards and go ahead and sell those off and try to save up for the next unevolved high rare and the S rare card, like what I'll be going over next. Okay? So, another thing is, I've seen new players using those skilled high normal cards to get up a skill level for a high rare card. And guys, don't do that because it's something that is actually going to come out of your deck pretty fast. And since its defense or attack is so low to begin with, it's not worth taking the time to do that. Now, people ask, when should I go ahead and start working on the skill levels? So, as you see here, I have a Master Witch, a Captain, a Paladin, a Lancelot, and a King Arthur. Okay? So, the progression that I would use if you're tight on HP and if you need a good defense deck is work on a Master Witch, Captain, and then when you finally start to reach a Paladin, which is something that other players want, other players are willing to pay good money for, other players actually care about the skill level of this card and are willing to pay you more for it, and this is a card that is going to stay in your deck probably for more than a month, okay? Then that's time to start spending money on, I'm not sorry, don't spend money. This is time to start using those high normal skill cards to get the skill level up. Now, if anybody, just go to your start icon, bring up your little calculator, Race Trade Box states this. For every skill level of the card, the probability of it going off increases, and also the damage done or the damage reduction is increased by 1%. So, having 3 of these in your deck, okay, so 3 skills go off, and having each of them at skill level 4 increases the damage reduction by 10%, okay? So when you have effects like This Is Your Realm, Does it have a barracks? So another man boosting effect. Are you the defense leader? And then increasing its skills effect by additional 10%. It's actually more than just the normal base net 10% starting off with. So 3 of these, 4 sixes, and then 2 captains, which is around 80,600 defense. You would think that you just get like an 8,060 defense bonus by all 3 of these effects going off. I ran that up to 10%. No, it's actually more than that because it's plus 5%, and I'm sorry, I think defense leaders 5% might be 10%. We'll just say 5% plus 5%, and then plus 10%. It's actually a lot more than 10% that way. So I hope that you're understanding my concept on that, guys. So Master Witch, the reason I say take a look at this card if you're a man, realm, and if you're looking for defense, is it's a big hit the foe's god attack. And it has about 16,000 defense. Get on Rage Trade Blogspot to double check that, guys. Its defense is competitive, okay? You can get these for 7 to 9 HP out of the Bazaar system if they're maxed out 11 to 12 HP, okay? And honestly, if you have HP, you could probably buy a final form 4-6 of these pretty reasonably, okay? So, big hit to foe's god attack, it's worth having. Now, the next step above this would be the captain, which a 4-6 I think is 17,200 defense. And I'm going off of memory, guys, so I know that these are a little bit off, but you're getting the general gist. What you want to do with these is you're only going to need about 2 of them, okay? So 2 4-6s. Something like this, it's not worth taking the time or money to try to get a 6-11 or 8-15, okay? And you put these in your 4th and your 5th slot because you don't really care about the big hit to foe's god attack effect going off. Because on the other 3 slots, what you want are something like Paladin. A substitution could be Great Spirit. Its defense is probably a little bit too weak. You could also use something like a Master Pop Star, which I think you can get a 4-6 or higher for like 80 HP compared to like the 120 to 150 that they're asking for a 4-6 Paladin. Now guys, be careful on the Bazaar system because a lot of people are trying to sell off improperly evolved Paladins on there. They take 4 of these, buy about 20 HP a piece, meaning that they've got 80 invested, and then try to sell them for 100 HP, and they don't take any time to evolve them. Okay, so be really careful with that. That or they'll have like a 13,000 defense, which is like a 4-1 Paladin. So it's completely worthless. And honestly, a Great Spirit properly evolved 4-6 is much better and a lot cheaper than that even. So that's the idea. Get 3 of these. These are the effects that you want to go off. So something like this, when you get it to that Gold Veneer Paladin SR, that's when you're going to want to start to get the effect going off. You got the Captain here. Don't care about that effect. Just make sure it's a 4-6. I would not waste your skilled high normal cards on these. I'd waste them on your Paladin instead. People ask me, what level should I get these things up to? It's one of those things. How much is it worth it to you? How much money are you willing to take and invest into it? And honestly, how freaking lucky are you? Get on Rage Trade Blogspot. It has a chart that breaks down the SR status of the cards that you use in with it. I know at rare cards, using 10 rares on an SR at skill level above 6 drops it down to like 20-30% chance. So you're essentially wasting about 10 HP for a third of a chance of the skill to go off. And one thing that I've noticed, guys, is if it drops anywhere at 50% or lower, it's not a 1 out of 2 chance of going off. So I kind of wonder if those percentages are actually correct or not. So what I'd recommend is if you really need to get the skill level up, buying those treasure high rares for 2 HP apiece and using those instead, okay? Anything after that, you're going to have to start looking at, something like Devil Queens, or if you're willing to wait, Mini Devil Queen might be coming out, which I think is a guaranteed 20%. So don't quote me on that. It's Japan translated over to English, or Japanese translated over to English, so check out. And I apologize, I know that this video is starting to get a little bit long. I was hoping to make it short and sweet. So let's go ahead and finish up. what would you replace after your paladins? Lancelot would be your next choice, okay? From what I've seen, these have actually dropped in price quite a bit. You can get a base one of these maxed out already, which since it's level 70, I believe, that saves you a lot of, excuse me, maybe level 60. Saves you a lot of time and effort on that. Maxing out this card's skill level or getting this card's skill level up is going to be a lot freaking harder, okay? Its defense for a 4/6 is about 20,000. So, one of the arguments that I've been trying to make is this card is essentially the same effect as a Paladin, great boost to defense, man defense all, which I think is 12.5% since it's a specific realm. Not 100% sure on that. I know it's at least 10%, guys. So, since the skill effect is so much harder to go off, you know, essentially you could have a Paladin that's giving a 20% boost compared to, or 22.5% boost to all your cards in your deck compared to the SSR Lancelot, which is only going to give like a 12.5 to 13.5% boost. So, if you start looking at this, if you have a Paladin in your deck, it might be worth keeping it if its skill level is higher than trying to go ahead and getting all 3 Paladins to replace those, all 3 of these Lances to replace those Paladins. So I hope that you're following me on that idea and that concept. Now what I would do is I would gradually try to buy one of these one at a time. You know, these things are not cheap, guys. I've seen them go for as low as 150 to high as 175, and honestly, they're going for about 180 to 200 for a while there when the Bazaar system first started out. So, you know, I'd say 150, 160 is a fair price on these. Of course, the market's always changing. You know, something better comes out. For some reason, there's a higher demand for this. You might see a peak in these around the Holy War event time. Okay? Buy one of these one at a time. Or, you know, if you got the discipline, save up all 600 HP if you're looking at buying a proper SSR one of these. Okay? Then, basically, take one of those little paladins and sell it off. Keep those captains in your deck because, like I said, the defense is higher than the paladin and you don't care about its skill. So, then take one of these, replace it with the paladin, sell the paladin off. Okay? And then after that, what you're going to start looking at is you're going to start looking at King Arthur. And guys, these things are extremely expensive, extremely rare. I think the defense is 22,000 for a proper 4/6, which I would not bother doing an 8/15 one of these because it's too many theaters, too many rubies, too much time, you know, too much money for just a little bit extra defense, okay? Shit, you know, when the system's back up, do a price check if anyone's even selling these. I know they're at least 600, 500, 600 HP, okay? And you gotta have 4 of them. So, you know, Lancelot, it's just, you can get a proper SSR Lancelot for what the price of one of these is going to cost you. Of course, for those really high players, this is going to be your next step, okay? And this is about the time that you're going to start to kick out those captains, okay? And so you move out the captain, put the Lancelot in this place, and put this in Lancelot's place. And of course, as far as the skill level goes, yeah, good luck. You're going to have to start using Devil Queens, or at least those high rare treasure cards straight off the bat. Rares are just too impractical and aren't going to give you enough of a chance at this time, okay? So guys, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope that you've learned a lot. If you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. Remember, if you're a new player or have an extra device or an extra phone laying around, please use my referral code RUN26800. That gets you a free rare card. It's rubies. Does the same for me. Thanks a lot, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. This is jaybo785 signing off.